So I'm gonna be talking about breaking my wrist and like covering for it, because I don't know, I just like the story for some reason. So I think I was like 11, and my mom had this friend who she taught like jiu-jitsu prep lessons too, and I was skating with him once. We were at this park near my house, and there was a two-stair. I would always go to this park to like skate and stuff, and because they had like 3 2-stairs, a 37 and 4 stair, and like just a few curbs that you could rent on and stuff. So I'd go there all the time, and we were just skating, and then I was gonna do like one of my last things, and I was gonna do a shove it off the 2-stair, which I've done that before, and I was going off it, and I did the trick, but then when I landed it, I was, my foot was on the side, and then I landed with my front wheel in a crack, and it kind of slid the board to the side, and then I like flew off it, and then I landed sideways on my wrist. So it was like, kind of like if my wrist was like, I had both my arms just like down, I fell on it like that, and then kind of hit it like on the side, like on the corner of it, and my mom, like, I was just like laying there, and I didn't really know what happened at first, because like the adrenaline and stuff, just I didn't really like realize, and I just like got up, and I just feel my wrist just like drop, and that's like one of the most painful things when you break a bone, because it was like my first time I've broken a bone too, because it's like you have one bone that's just supporting the rest, or you don't have anything supporting all the weight, and just drops. So I walked like back to my house. She was there, and my baby brother and sister were there too, and then the guy, her friend, and we were going to my house. It wasn't far at all. It was like 4-minute walk, and we walked there, and then we just got in our car, and she was like looking for urgent cares, because yeah, obviously, and we went to one, and I was just sitting in the lobby for like 30 minutes, and I'm like, this is taking forever, and I'm just like sitting there. So I finally get in, and they just like, I'm just sitting there holding my wrist up, and it was my left wrist, and they took like x-rays, which is so painful, because they have to hold your wrist up like sort of like you have there's a few positions. So there's like your hand shaking someone, your palm up, your palm down, to the side, different ways. And the most painful one is like definitely like you giving someone a handshake, because I don't know, that one just hurts so bad, like getting in that position too. Because if I just let go of my wrist, it's like I can't support it, so I'm just like grasping on it so hard the whole time. And eventually, like, they finished the x-rays, and when they did, I had I dislocated my wrist, which we kind of noticed at first, because if you looked at it, it looked insane. Then you could see a bone popping out of like the side that my thumb was on, like at the end where my wrist started. You could see my bone swollen there, and you could just see it, like it was insanely swollen. And they put you in this thing. It's like kind of like a cotton thing, and then there's like plastic in it, and they dip in like hot water, and then when they put it on you, it kind of just forms onto you. So they put that on, and that was just like stuck onto like my arm. And it's weird, because it was my wrist that I broke, and it went up basically to like my shoulder, and then they wrap it in gauze, and altogether that thing's like 50 pounds. So they had to put you in a sling, because you literally, it's so heavy, and your arm's just in that position, and it's so insanely heavy. And urgent care and the x-rays that they gave us, it showed like you have like you actually the back of your palm and go down a few inches right there, like when my wrist started, it was snapped in half, and then a few broken bones on the side. And I had that cast for, I don't know, maybe 1 to 2 weeks. Yeah, like a week and a half. And I went to the hospital so they could like put me in an actual cast, because that thing was like I couldn't do anything in that. I couldn't like what's it called, shower in that cast. I couldn't like take off the sling. I could barely sleep in it. To sleep in it, I had to lay on my back and then have that on top of me, and I could just barely breathe because this thing is like what's it called, like 60-pound cast is just sitting on my chest. And when we went to the hospital, they just like took x-rays, all like normal stuff, and then they noticed that I had like 3 more breaks on a bone that the urgent care did not taken an x-ray, because they didn't do a certain position to that, and they didn't like see it. So I had 3 I don't remember what they're called, like chips. It's kind of like a chip in your bone or something. It's like I don't remember what it's called. I have to like look it up later, but it's like a little chip, I think. And basically just kind of like a little part is just chipped out or something. And I had like 3 of those on the top of my wrist, which they didn't see. So they saw those, and then they got like an actual cast, which you gotta pick a color. And I'm like, why would you pick white? The white looked so weird, because it's just so plain looking. It's just like you have this white piece of like cloth on your hand, and they like dip it in water, because at first it's like a softer cloth, but when they put in like hot water and then they wrap it around you, it just like becomes a little concrete. What's it called? When they wrap it around, it just kind of freezes. Like they put a thing like cloth around your wrist first, and then they put that on. And after that, I think it was like a month. Like I had to go every month. So next time I went, they had to like take the the cast off every month and put like a new one on, and so they can do x-rays. And they have this saw, and I hated this thing. It's like little, like a full-on power saw. It's like the blade is like insanely huge, and then it just cuts through the cast. And this thing is insane, because I'm like, you're gonna cut my arm off, and it makes you like a whole body shake, because of how much this thing makes you vibrate, because it's like this huge saw is just pushing into the cast, and it's just making your body vibrate like insane, and you can literally can't stay still, because this thing is like so powerful that's like able to do that. And then they had to do that each time, and they'd give us x-rays, and I don't know why, I just loved looking at the x-rays. And I think I had a purple cast the whole time. I don't think I got a different color. They had like blue, cyan, green, yellow, pink, white, black. I don't know why you'd get a yellow or like a white cast. That just seems really weird to me. And then they had like a light green. I was thinking of getting a dark blue ones, but I didn't, because I don't know. And what's it called? I had that for a while. That wasn't that bad compared to what I had at first, because it was a lot smaller and lighter and stuff. And each time I did that, I think I had like 4 appointments where I got a new cast, and then the last one, or one more, after that, like the 4th one, when I went back, the coolest thing is this hospital, like to get in the doors, those like doors that you push and it's like a circle. It's like that, but it's like it's an electric one, so it moves itself through like in a circle, and some of those like windy doors. I don't remember what they're called, but it's like an electric one of those. And then when I went in, they gave me this thing. I think it's called like an exocast. It's like this kind of black looking like brace, has like little holes in it and stuff, and then it has a dial, so you can take it off. Like, they let you take it off as long as you just hold your wrist up like not vertical, like parallel. You just hold it up like straight, and then so like your wrist is being supported, and then because before I'd had to put this crazy thing on my arm or a bunch of plastic bags to shower or something. You could take that brace cast thing off to shower, and then also they let you. It was like fully waterproof, so you could like clean it and then swim in it. So I got to swim in that, which was nice. It was weird because before, when you have like the bag on and you're swimming, it's just like this huge bag that just makes you float. And sort of annoying because like you can't go underwater or like on water slides or anything, because like you have this huge piece of paper or like plastic on your arm and you're trapped and stuff. So once I got that, it was a lot easier because I could take it off, I could clean it, I could shower without it, I could swim and stuff and get like wet and get it like wet, and it wouldn't like ruin it. I think I actually still have it because after like the first month of having it, they had me come back for like the last X-rays, and they're just like after like 3 days you can, or right now, I just start sitting around and like chilling out without the cast on. After 3 days, start doing more activity stuff like eating without it. After a week, start sleeping without it, and I'm like, sleeping without it sounded crazy because I thought like I was so scared my wrist was gonna like hurt, like just do something again. And I waited like 2 weeks before I actually slept without it. So I just had that. I took it off. I started just like hanging out without it, but my wrist was like extra stiff than normal, so I couldn't move it at all. Like, I had no like movement. I couldn't move back, forward, to the sides. I couldn't like grab, like I couldn't squeeze anything. Like if I squeezed something, I had no strength doing that. And the nice thing though that I figured out is a butter knife. Like a small butter knife, like not very sharp one, is perfect for scratching your arm. Like with the cast on, because it's small enough that I can stick it through the cast, and it's long enough and not that I can scratch my arm. So I had a butter knife to scratch my arm. And I had that cast for basically like a month or two, and then when I finally tried sleeping without it, because I was scared to prefer to sleep without it, because I'm like, how I sleep is like I'll start at one part of my bed, and then I'll just like appear, and then like when I go to sleep, and then I would just like wake up on the other side of my room. So when I finally did that, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be, but I had to do things like I had to do physical therapy for my wrist, so I so I could like move it again, and then do things like squeezing Play-Doh and clay for like strength, and just like a few stretches on it to make it move again. And now I basically have full movement back. Like, yeah, I can move it like fully. It's just like, I mean, yeah, I can move it basically the same as my right hand. It just feels different. It was weird because then I stopped wearing the cast completely. Like, when they told me to just like stop wearing it at all, like I don't need it anymore. Like, my arm is so small looking. Like, even now, I think if I put like both my arms together, my left arm still looks a little bit smaller because it's just being squeezed in a cast the whole time. And then also, it looked very weird when I got my cast off because it was during the summer when I got it off, so my other arm was completely tan, and the other arm looked really weird because there's this giant patch of just like nothing. the rest of my arm was 10, and then that was just like white. Like it looked so weird. Eventually evened out, but after that it was like pretty normal now. The only thing that's like when I notice it is like really when I'm just like say I like pull up like my wrist or hold something really heavy or move in a certain way, I can feel it. But besides that, it's not really noticeable, and I mean it's pretty normal now.